Home Alone, 1990. One of the most popular Christmas classics of all time. One of my favorite, of course. In this video, I'll be going through every McAllister family member from Home Alone, and I'm gonna be tier listing them. This is my first commentary video, so let's go. So first up is Kevin McAllister, an 8-year-old boy who is constantly mistreated by his family, otherwise proves to be a very intelligent boy. S tier. So next up is Kate McAllister, Kevin's mother, who many believe is pretty much like the rest of the family to Kevin, but that doesn't stop her from getting an A tier, of course. So next up is Peter McAllister, Kevin's dad, who I believe to be nothing like the rest of the family to Kevin, so I'd say like A tier as well. So next up we have Uncle Frank, who I believe to have a somewhat dangerous temper, and that can be found in his interactions with Kevin. Also, he proves to have a generally negative attitude. So yeah, Frank is just a human F. He hasn't changed one bit. So next up we have Old Man Marley, Kevin's eccentric next door neighbor, who Kevin at first believes is scary, but then realizes he's not so scary after all. Just like in the second movie with the pigeon lady. So I'd say like A tier, of course. So next up we have Fuller, who is Kevin's bedwetter cousin, and that's why Kevin doesn't want to share a bed with him in the two movies. So I'd say like C tier, and you know, most of the people who have had to share a bed with him would agree. So next up we have Jeff, who is another one of Kevin's brothers, or maybe cousins, I don't know. But he does have a negative attitude towards Kevin in the scene where the dinner is ruined. So I'd say like D tier, of course. So let's move on. So next up we have Heather, Kevin's oldest cousin, who I don't see has a generally negative attitude towards Kevin at all. But she does interact with Kate in a few moments. So B tier. So next up we have Megan, which is another one of Kevin's siblings or cousins, I don't know, who also generally tends to have a negative attitude towards Kevin in that scene where the dinner's ruined. So like D tier. So next up is Buzz, one of Kevin's older brothers, who generally tends to have a negative attitude towards the latter, but otherwise praises him at the end of the two movies. So for that, I'll give him an A tier. So next up we have Harry and Marv, the two bumbling burglars, who Kevin eventually defeats. Harry is the brains and Marv is the brawn, so like Harry gets B and Marv C. So yeah. So next up we have Aunt Leslie, which is one of Kevin's aunts, of course, who does not generally have a negative attitude towards him. So like I'd say like A tier or something, if you guys would agree. So next up we have Gus Polinski, the polka band guy who helps Kate get through this situation. So A tier. So last up we have Mr. Duncan, the owner of Duncan's Toy Chest in New York in Home Alone 2, who generally is generous and respectful. So I'd say like S tier or something. That's all for today. I love you all and peace out.